Millions of dollars in decisions are influenced every day, every single week by business journals. Did you know that? And so most people don't realize it. And in a world driven by headlines, the real power lives in the stories on those pages. And so I have someone with us today who influences what we see and what we hear. I am so excited to be joined by Ben Jacobs, the associate publisher and editor of the Rochester Business Journal and Western New York Daily Record for Bridge Tower Media. Welcome to Who's in Your Contacts, where culture, collaborations, and connections collide. I'm Crystal Ellis, the culture broker, your host. And again, in our today, I have Ben Jacobs in the building. Let me tell you more about Ben Jacobs. I'm gonna read this because I don't want to miss a thing. Because I, I love some Ben Jacobs, okay? And then you'll know why. So, of course, in addition to his role of being the associate publisher and editor of the Rochester Business Journal and the Western New York Daily Record for Bridge Tower Media, he is responsible for overseeing all aspects of the Rochester operations for Bridge Tower. I got that right? Come on, somebody. So he focuses primarily on leading the editorial department and coordinates with the managing director to guide the sales events and marketing events for Rochester. Outside of his work, he volunteers for multiple organizations. He currently serves on the board of directors for compliance and development committees for empowering people's independence. I love them.
They're a great organization.
Just an amazing organization. And he serves on the board of directors for Leadership Rochester. He has served on other boards for Compere Rochester, okay, Small Business Council of Rochester, and Friends of the Rochester Public Market. I I love the public market. I love a lot of things, okay? Like, I really do. Go to the public market. If you haven't been, please go to all the public markets. Thank you very much. Ben holds, when I read this, I was like, now wonder why we gel so well. So this was the moment for me, friends. Ben holds a BA in philosophy from the University of Rochester. I was like, oh, now I get it. And an executive MBA from the Rochester Institute of Technology, Saunders College of Business. Ben left, and by the way, go Tigers, because I'm a Tiger as well, so go RIT. Ben left the Rochester region after college to work at newspapers in Ithaca, New York, and Tallahassee, Florida, and returned to Rochester in 2008. He lives in the city with his beautiful and most amazing wife, Trinity, his daughters, Zoe and Alexandra, his stepson, Ben, and his stepdaughter, Stella. Ben enjoys traveling with the little time he has. Playing board games.
Yeah, love board games.
Which board game?
We play complicated board games.
Okay.
Long ones.
And exercise. Ben, exercising?
Yeah, almost every day. Yeah.
You know what? Wait, you've done 2 ultra marathons and you're a rock climber?
Yeah.
Ben, who are you? This is wild business. Get out. Okay, so before we get into it, I do this with the guests that I know well. And so this is my I love you segment. And the I love you segment, if you haven't tuned in to us before, is when I tell the person who's in the seat next to me why I love them. And I truly believe that love is a currency well spent. And in boardrooms, behind the scenes, or just in regular life, we don't really take the opportunities to tell people why we admire them. And I I believe that that is what we're born to do. And so I would never want to miss an opportunity where there's someone who's important to me that I don't tell them why I love them. So, Ben Jacobs, you are you're like a man among men. You are peace walking. Uh you have such a strength about you in a room that um I was just like, man, this guy is just so strong, like a foundation, you're a foundation and a very strong pillar. You have done so much to uplift local business owners, but you have done an exceptional job with your team of uplifting women in this community. And you are a brother to me, and my mom adores you. She's like, my mom is ultra Jamaican, so she's like, tell Ben I said hello. And I'm like, okay, mom, I'll tell Ben that I said that you said hello. And there's just so many moments personally in my life where you in my career that you have contributed to. And sometimes I don't know, sometimes people don't aren't humble enough to say like you someone has had a part in their career. I know I don't believe that people are self-made. I believe that people are ordained to walk alongside someone to get them to where they need to go at some point. And you have been like you are in the tapestry of the Crystal Ellis story, and I will forever be grateful for who you are and for what you carry. And the other reason why I wanted to have you on this show is because Ben Jacobs is a mystery. You're the mystery. Y'all, he's the mystery man. You all right, if you want to see the most well-dressed person in a room, okay? I mean, cufflinks and the shirt is pressed where there's not even a wrinkle, but is able to direct everything that happens in a room. That's that's some Ben Jacobs, but extremely humble and approachable and truly cares for our community. So I want to say this on record that I honor you. I love you as my brother, your family for life, and um, yeah, you'll always be a part of my story.
Thank you for that very much. I appreciate it. It makes me get all emotional just hearing you talk about that. I love you so much. I mean, just the joy you have for life and for other people. It's amazing. Um, I don't think I could, no matter how bad a day I might be having, if I bump into you, I'm having a good day. You know,
I'm like, hey.
it's you just are a magical person to be around.
Thank you, thank you. Oh man. So you ready to get the party
I'm
started?
ready.
Let's get it started. Let's get it started. Okay. All right. So before we get into, we talked about your titles and roles, but who is Ben Jacobs really? Because I went into um, you are this man of peace, but you have such a great responsibility of telling the stories of our region, many of what happens in New York State, because it's just not like Rochester. Is you have the eyes on absolutely everything, but you are most of the time behind the scenes. And so, hello, welcome to the Ben Jacobs Show. So, who is Ben Jacobs really?
I mean, I think my role for the Rochester Business Journal is, it's a big part of who I am. We all spend a lot of our time at our jobs working. So, and my job uh, can have long hours sometimes, and I'm
Mm.
in front of a lot of people. So that's definitely a big part of who I am. I it's not something I've done for my whole life, obviously. I've
Mhm.
been with the Rochester Business Journal, a little under 10 years. Um, but I think if I were to be doing something else, that would fundamentally change kind of who I am a little bit because
Mhm.
um, being in that role becomes a part of who you are. People in the community see you differently and interact with you differently and want to be uh, having time with you. So
Mhm.
that's definitely editor of the Rochester Business Journal has definitely kind of become a part of who I am, but it's definitely
Yeah.
not all of who I am. I mean, my family is more important than anything. I'm a father to two daughters and two
Mhm.
stepchildren. I'm a husband. Those are the titles that I care about most in my life.
Yeah.
Um, so I enjoy my job. I am proud of the work that I do,
Mhm.
but ultimately, what makes me happy is how's my family doing? How are my kids and
Mm.
my wife feeling?
Um, I I was recently we were recently at a gala together, and I looked up and I saw you and your wife dancing. And you know, you are such a healthy example of a union, and where most wouldn't. You kind of see people, especially in roles like yourself, singular, like you're just out doing things. But what's so beautiful about you and Trinity is that you both are always together. Again, a beautiful example of a union, and you truly love each other.
I'm very fortunate. I don't think I even knew what a partnership and a relationship like that could be until I met Trinity.
Yeah.
Um, we we are very fortunate. We like doing all the same things. We never get tired of each other. We always want to be doing things together. We are on the same page for most of the decisions that we make, so we
Mm-hmm.
very rarely have to figure things out.
Mm-hmm.
And when we do, we compromise easily. So people say marriage is hard work, and I think some marriages can be. I will tell you that we don't have emotional conversations, but my
Mm-hmm.
marriage is not hard. We're just
Yeah.
such perfect fits for each other that it's just easy to be around her and want to do everything with her, and couldn't imagine wanting to do something else instead of spending time with her.
Mm. She is. She's incredible. Like, and so kind. And I think that's why you all are my people. There's a lot of people in this state. There's a lot of people in Rochester, but it's very rare to find your people. And I could tell that you both truly love each other. Before we get into the RBJ, um, what were you like growing up?
I was very quiet kid. I was shy, awkward.
The awkward Ben.
Yeah.
Stop. Would you like stand in a corner and just stare? Like, how does this work?
Oh yeah. I would just sit and not say anything, and like I didn't know how to approach people or talk to people I didn't know. Yeah, I was very didn't have confidence when I was a kid. Very unsure of myself.
To having one of the most social jobs ever?
Yeah.
That is wild. So someone who's watching this, there listen, you just never know where the world may take you because yeah, being quiet, you think, well, you're just going to have some job somewhere in the corner, and here you are with one of the most important roles, um gosh, in our state and in our region. So RBJ, um tell us about the goal of its work and what you do and what your team does at the RBJ.
Our purpose is to support the local business community, Rochester, the greater Rochester region, and mostly we want to inform, connect, and recognize local businesses and local business people. So, obviously we write stories. We have events where people can connect with each other and network. We have awards that we give out that recognize people. We have uh, a lot of people who care about what we do. So we're able to, through advertising or emails or content, we're able to connect businesses with other businesses who might be able to help each other to mutually benefit their companies.
Mhm.
So that's what we're hoping to do. We want to, through the stories that we produce, through the events that we hold, through the connections that we're able to make, elevate the business community in general and help everybody win.
Mm. Is is news is news dead?
News is harder
Mm. Okay. What do you mean by
be-
it's harder?
because producing good, credible news is not cheap.
Hmm.
There are so many people now who can so easily produce
Junky
lower
stuff.
quality, inaccurate
Janky, junky stuff. I
content.
said it.
And as a society, there's been some loss of the ability to tell the difference between quality content
Mm.
and lower quality content.
Your RBJ has always had the reputation of producing good content. There has been this continuity of that over the years. Why is that? How have you been able the RBJ has been able to maintain that true content that is real, that tells the story of businesses, and of people without the the fluff and the hype. You've done that really well. Is that a culture inside of the RBJ? How do you get to that?
Yeah, I think it's somewhat culture. It's the people that we've had working as reporters and editors over the years. I give a lot of credit to my predecessor as the editor, Paul Erickson, and the previous owner and publisher, Susan Holliday. They built an amazing brand, and developed tremendous credibility with the business community, and we've been able to maintain that.
Mm.
So when the business community respects you and thinks your brand is important and wants to interact with you, then it's easier to tell those stories because you have connections, you have people who want to talk to you, and you have options to say this is a good story. We want to tell this story. People are going to care about it.
Mm.
So it's been, RBJ has been around for 40 years now, and it's not an accident that it's as well respected as it is. A lot of people have put in a lot of hard work to make sure we're producing good content for decades, and
Yes,
that
sir.
people respect what we do.
What are the newsroom non-negotiables?
Um, I think being respectful, being a hard worker, and being uh, foc- focused on serving our community and our subscribers, our customers, and making sure that they're front of mind of what do they need to know.
Hmm. Um, you all are very straightforward in your headlines, right? So where sometimes you read a headline and you don't know what you're going to get, or you're like, man, that's kind of inflammatory. Where with your headlines, it is what you get, and it's always it's always true. Is there a very unbiased? Is that a part of the discussion or the culture that you have with people who come into the newsroom? Because that has maintained and it's been the same for years.
Yeah, but I think that's always been a policy of RBJ is that we want our headlines to be straightforward and not we don't want to try to bias people by giving their perception of what the story's going to say.
Yeah.
So we want it to be kind of just the facts in the headline.
The purpose of this podcast is learning about the people behind the big things that we see, and the RBJ is a big deal, and the goal is to encourage people to step into their purpose and be who have they been called to become, and getting wisdom from the leaders in our community, or for from who's in my contacts. Okay, so it's a place where people can be motivated. So staying true to yourself, You are in this very high level leadership role, extremely visible. Um, is there something about, I mean, you make it look good. Ben Jacobs, I'm such a Jamaican too, because we say someone's full name all the time. Instead of saying, hey Ben, we're like Ben Jacobs. You make it look good. What is some leadership things? What kind of leader are you? Um, and then that's one. And what is something that people aren't talking about more in leadership on how to become a good leader?
Yeah. So I try to be a collaborative leader. I don't, uh, not to say I never just give people a task and say, I just need this done, but
Mm-hmm.
I want to work with my teams and have conversations and empower them to decide what they think the right thing to do is and to guide their own work days and work weeks and feel like they're bringing their own thoughts and ideas and contributions to the table. I don't want to make every decision. Um, I mean, I think that's one of the things that was maybe the hardest for me to figure out as a leader was there were early on um, in my career when I first became manager and had people reporting to me, um, feeling like I had to make every decision because I'm a leader now and I have to decide. I have to be the one who's calling the shots and doing all the things. And um, organizations don't need that. They don't need one person making all the decisions, and it creates a bottleneck, and it doesn't allow other people to spread their wings and figure out what they can do and what they can contribute. And it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't feel like make them feel like they're part of the team. So you don't want to be a. I don't think a good leader should be micromanaging or making every decision or trying to do all the tasks themselves. You have to let some things go and trust that you've got a good team and they know what they're doing
Yeah.
and they're going to do a good job with the things that you aren't doing yourself.
You meet hundreds of leaders throughout the week, days, all the time. Like you're always with our leaders, far and close. What do you let me see how I say this, friends. What impresses you most about a leader, and what would say like this person absolutely not. Like there's something off about them. Cringe.com. Um, like they just this is a leader that doesn't represent our community well or just represent well as a leader.
Yeah, I mean, so I would think probably two sides of the same coin there. What I like to see in a leader is somebody who's humble and
Mm,
who, when you ask them about their success, they talk about their team. They talk about
mm,
the people around them or
sure.
the company, the products or services they provide, and less about themselves and how great they are at getting things done. So, flip side of maybe leaders that I'm less excited about are people who make it all about themselves and say we're successful because of me, things like that.
Mm,
And I don't think we have many of those in Rochester. I think we have a lot of servant leaders, a lot of humble leaders in Rochester who um, understand that they might be at the top of the org chart,
hmm.
but that doesn't necessarily mean they're always the most important person
Yeah.
in a given minute, in a given day, because other people are doing good work and making sure things are getting done in their organization.
Yeah, that is a theme here in Rochester. We're very resource rich. And it's a place where it's you can find home and community here. So if you ever want to move to Rochester, New York, holler at your friend. We will hook you up. We have the most beautiful place. It's like the landscape is beautiful. We have the Finger Lakes. We have good people. So come on, come on down. The newsroom is you have to be efficient because you're pumping out stories all the time. How do you create that efficiency? Because sometimes there's organizations that need to be efficient and they need to move, but they're struggling to do that with your team. And you have a huge team that needs to hit deadlines. Like the story needs to be out on this date. It's not like, oh, get to it later. We need to do this now. How do you create an entire team of efficient people that execute on time every time?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's well, you have to set expectations, and everybody has to understand what the expectations are and buy into them and agree that they're going to work toward those expectations and meet them and um not you can't be 100% efficient all the time. You can
Mhm.
strive for it, but there's going to be times where things are going to get gummed up a little bit and you're going to be inefficient or you're going to be slower than you want to be on a certain task. Um, you just need to keep moving forward and keep working to get the next task completed and get where you need to be by the end of the day or by the end of the week, wherever you are in the deadline structure of a certain project.
Mm. Um, you have I'm pretty sure that there are different personalities that you work with. How do you personally, how do you manage that?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have different personalities on my team, both in Rochester and I have people in other locations who report to me. Um, so I treat every relationship as yes, I'm a supervisor or a manager, but also we're both humans, so I
That's right.
want to just be having conversations with people. And if somebody needs to vent about something or wants to go on a tangent to tell me about their day, I want to hear what's going on in their lives. So
Mhm.
um I'm always willing to meet people wherever they need me to be. If somebody needs me to just, hey, just tell me what to do right now so I can stay on track,
Yeah,
fine. Somebody needs to come in and say, hey, I just need to chat for a little bit to tell you what's on my mind. Great, let's do it.
yeah.
It's just, you know, you can't treat everybody like they're the same person and you
Mm,
can't interact with everybody exactly the same way. You've got to figure out what they need from you and try to provide that.
you hear that? You're getting some good leadership gems here, and that's so true. It's just everyone is so different, and you have to meet them, like you said, meet them where they are to develop who they are, and that's a huge part of leadership. What skills matter most today, um, in media?
So I think we talked about efficiency, and I think the most important part of being efficient is organization. You've got to be organized. If you are all over the place with your how you do things, how you contact people, how you look into what you should be writing about, it's going to take you longer than it should or than you might have time for. So organization, I think, is critical. Obviously, everybody knows you've got to be a good writer. You've got to ask good questions, but you really just, I think, need to be organized. Um, and really, one thing that used to be a given in the world and in journalism in particular uh, is skepticism. If you're going to be a good
Mm,
reporter, you have to be a little skeptical and can't take everything at face value. So you have to dig a little deeper, ask an extra question, make sure you understand what they're saying. Uh, people who people who think they know everything probably aren't going to make good reporters because they're not going to dig
ooh.
deeper. They're going to just say, "Oh, I understand what he's talking about," and they might get it wrong when they report on it.
Huh.
If you just go in with an attitude of, "I'm not an expert on this," I might think I understand it, but let me ask a few extra questions just to make sure I can write a story that readers will understand and appreciate what's actually being done here.
Huh. I If you think you know it all, you may be prone to missing something. That is good stuff. Have you gotten a story on your desk and you send it back to say, ask some more questions?
I don't remember a specific example. I mean, we always look at stories, and sometimes you'll have a question, say, "Can you um, make sure I understand? Can we work on the wording here? Can you make sure I understand what you're talking about here?" And then sometimes the reporter will say, let me go back and ask and make sure I understand it so that we can figure out the best way to say this. It's rare that I would say I'm, kicking a story back and saying you need to do some more work on this
Mhm.
and ask some more questions and do another interview or figure
Mhm.
out because it's not clear. Usually it's more of a conversation. The reporter might just say they want to do that.
Okay. Um, there is we have a new generation that is coming into media and understands media a different way. I remember growing up and watching TV. It comes on a certain time. You sit in front, I call it the bubble butt TV. You sit in front of the TV, and I'm dating myself, but it's okay. And you would turn the little dial, and then you watched, and everything is boilerplate. Everyone looks the same, does the same things. Where now, with younger generations, the way how people consume media and the way how we deliver media is completely different. How do you balance those creative people who are completely out of the box thinkers to say this is how we need to do it versus how you have been delivering content traditionally? How do you balance that to say, hey, maybe we could do some of that, or we're not doing that at all? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, I think you want to have people who want to push the boundaries. You want to have people who are coming up with new ideas and saying, "Hey, can we try this?" Or, "Why have we always done it like this? Let's try something new." And I think you want to give them some freedom to explore that and see if it works. But at the end of the day, we do have um, certain expectations of we need to produce a certain amount of content to make sure our readers are getting what they need from us.
Mm.
And you know we're a business publication, so it's not going to be too flashy or kind
Mhm.
of out of the
Yeah.
box. We can do a little bit of out of the box, but it needs to be professional. It needs to focus on what business leaders care about. So um, it's a case where you want to try new things, you want to experiment, you want to do it respectfully and kind of in a smart and um, kind of carefully managed way where you don't want to like say, all right, we're gonna do a complete 180 and do everything different this week. You try one or two things at a time and see if they work and see if there's interest in them.
You are you're always out there, always smiling. We talked about your leadership, how you manage different personalities. We just talked about the creative folks, leading across multiple generations. What parts of your role are harder than people think?
So it's the hardest part is not even necessarily an RBJ thing. It's just my role is pretty varied across Bridge Tower with different publications in different states, and just honestly, the thing that I find that the hardest part of my job is just email management, just keeping up with my inbox.
Mm.
I get
How do you do
so
that?
many
Because
emails throughout
I'm
the day.
I'm terrible.
Um, I just I try to keep an eye on it, and when I if I'm in the middle of a task but I see an important email come in, I'll interrupt the task and respond to the email. If I'm in the middle of a task that I can't interrupt, I will try to make sure I get to the most important emails immediately when I'm done. I'm in meetings a lot, and I
Yes.
don't want to be answering emails during meetings. I don't want my focus to be on the meeting and what we're discussing. But I can in an hour meeting, I can miss 100 emails
Get out 100 emails?
depending on the day and the time of day.
That's one of the things I struggle with is checking is, like, getting to emails right away. Is there other supports or people that help you to that you don't miss some of those things, like, you just forward it, or because 'cause you're really
Yes.
good at returning emails. I know that for a fact.
Yeah. So there are certain emails that come to me. Again, like I said, I don't necessarily want to make all the decisions. So if somebody's asking me, "Can you do a story on this? Can you do a story on that?" Sometimes I'll just pass on to my reporters and say, "What do you think? Let me know."
Mhm.
And they'll look at it and they'll tell me if they think that they should do a story on it, and then we'll have a quick chat. Then I don't feel like I need to be the first person to weigh in on every story request we get. I can pass them off to my reporters and get their feedback first, and then have a discussion if we maybe disagree. Um, so I do have people that I can send emails to, and a lot of emails are things. A lot of emails that I get aren't critical.
Hmm.
Aren't I get on so many lists because everybody adds editors to every PR list in the
Yeah.
country. So a lot of my email management is just deleting things that aren't actually really valid emails.
Yeah.
But it still takes time. So just keeping up with making sure I don't miss emails that are critical and that I really need to respond to myself
Hmm.
quickly. Um, that's probably the most stressful part of my day. Is just sometimes I'll spend an hour or 2 hours working and be like, I didn't actually do any work. I just responded to emails, but that's work.
That's work. That's a lot. That's a lot of work. I dread emails. So you talk of that's, we get to the hard part. What brings you the most joy? Ben Jacobs in this role.
I love this. I love talking to people. I love talking to business people, whether it's at our events, coffee, lunch, and I love the purpose of this podcast is what I enjoy about my job is just getting to know business people, but not for what they do. I want to learn about their business. That's why I'm in this role. I want to learn about their life. I want to learn how many kids they have and where they grew up and what they're interested in doing.
Yeah.
Because nobody is just their job.
Mm.
And I think people forget that sometimes. They
Mm.
see a business leader and they're like, well, that's just the president of such and such company. That's all they
Oh
do. No,
gosh.
they have a
A human.
huge life outside of that role, and I want to know about it.
Mm. We're human. Um, when we're talking about real stories, do you feel that there's still missing or some underrepresented type stories that we haven't really touched in Rochester that could possibly we could see more of through the RBJ or through other means of media?
Yeah, I mean, I think, and it's not just a Rochester thing; it's true across the country. We just have fewer journalists than we used to. Just the journalism organizations all over the country have fewer people actually producing journalism than they did 30, 40, 50 years ago. So you just lose stories because if you have less people, there's less content you can produce.
Mm.
So every organization is making harder choices. Either you do the easier stories, you can keep doing a bunch of them.
Mhm.
Investigative journalism is really hard.
Yeah.
Takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
Most media organizations can't afford to have one person spend 2, 3 months on a single story. That's what it takes to do a really good investigative piece.
Gosh.
So I think that's something that we've lost some of in Rochester. We still have investigative journalists, um, but we used to have a lot more, and they used to be able to find out some really important things. Uh, and it's just there's a gap there.
Why do you think that is?
A lot of it's financial. I mean, it takes a lot of work. It takes a skilled reporter who's probably paid pretty well, spending a lot of their time on a single story at a time. And that doesn't necessarily lead immediately to advertising or subscriptions.
You're right.
So it's hard as journalism has become much more focused on profit,
Mhm.
and it's become harder to make a profit. Finances have become harder in a lot of industries. Um, the appetite for letting a highly paid reporter spend weeks on a single story
It's
has
hard.
diminished.
And things are moving so quickly. Has content creation everyone's a reporter now on YouTube or on TikTok or on Instagram. How has that impacted the industry?
I mean, I think that's part of what makes it hard to keep people's attention is this, like you said, everybody's a content creator.
Yeah.
So we're constantly bombarded with content all day, every day on our devices, our computer, our phone, our tablet,
Mhm.
whatever you have. When I look at my kids, they're sometimes on 2 devices at a time.
It's true. It's true.
It's, it's hard to capture people's attention and keep their attention.
Mm. So what do you want to so now we're having our brother and sister talk. What do you want to talk about, Ben Jacobs? I see the thinking bubble. Cuz you're always thinking. Like I could see that with you. You're always like it's like loading all of the great things happening in the inside of your head.
It's funny, I was sitting with my daughter yesterday, and she was complaining about being bored 'cause and I, told her I'm never bored.
Mhm.
She said, "I'm jealous, I wish I could never be bored." I said, "I spend so much of my day having to think about stuff that if I get 10 minutes where I can just space out and not do anything,
Yeah.
that's that's not boring, that's like a treat that I can turn my brain off for 5, 10 minutes."
The best. Literally amazing. I I prioritize rest.
Yeah.
Because I believe that we are more creative once our bodies and our mind can rejuvenate. Crazy fact about me, on my birthday, I spend it alone.
Did not know that.
It's a
Yeah.
requirement. We could celebrate after, but on my birthday, I speak to absolutely no one.
Oh.
I wake up, I give my kids a hug and a kiss. I say, I love you, husband. And I check into a hotel, and I sleep and I sit there in gratitude, or I'll just walk around town. I love thrifting, by the way. So this past February, I just went in the store and I was just like, what can I find? Because I love quality suits. So I'm just like, I walking around all by my lonesome, and everyone knows in my family, do not call Crystal on her birthday. You could text me, um, but for the most part, I am silent, and I also rest. I love taking naps. I do it a lot in my office. I have a camp bed with a unicorn bed sheet.
I think that's one thing that I wish, as a society, uh, we valued rest, and, like, I think more companies should have just a bed
Yeah.
somebody take like, I cannot tell you, there's days where I am struggling,
Mhm.
and I'm exhausted, and I'm just trying to push through work
Mhm.
because 'cause I've got so much to do, but I'm not being my most efficient. We talked about being
Yes.
efficient. It's hard, and if I could just lay down and close my eyes for 5, 10 minutes, I'd probably feel a lot better and be able to work better, but
That's right.
that's not something that we do in America.
Yes, with my team, we could be in the middle of a Zoom call or in a meeting, and if I'm done and I look around the table and everyone is like spaced out, I was like, what are we doing? Are we going out to eat, or we're done with this today? Is this really important right now? Or is sleep important right now? And we're like, I'll say we're done. I'm gonna go take a nap. And saying that out loud as a leader, I'm like, I'm going to take a nap. And at first, it was like, you're going to take a nap? What do you mean? And I'm like, no, no, no. You too. You can go and do whatever you want to do during this time, but let us come back to the table and talk about how that felt. And the creativity is on 10 because they feel rejuvenated. They don't feel like they need to perform. And again, in this culture, there's this hustle culture that you have to go, 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 and it burns you out.
Yeah.
It burns you out. And then you feel like, if I'm not working, I'm going to get fired from my job. Well, yeah, if you're not doing your job, but if you aren't efficient, if you aren't clear, if you don't feel seen, uh it's going to result in the same thing. So I'm very open and honest with my team, and even people I work with and work for. I need rest.
Yeah. I think that we have a culture that's kind of obsessed with how many hours somebody's working, and
Mhm.
to me, that's kind of irrelevant. It's
Yeah.
are you producing good work and doing what as an organization we need. And if you can do that in less time because you're rested or because you're being efficient or you're taking breaks that recharge you and let you work better, great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's ideal. So I pull out my little camping bed. I pull it out of the office. I bought it. I bought the camping bed just for work. I pull it out and I lay down and I take these quick naps, open my eyes, and the clarity that comes from that is just off the chain. Um talking to my team, they'll say, I feel safe. Um I feel seen and I don't feel like a number. They're like, you truly want the best from us and you figure out what that looks like.
Mm,
For me, that's napping.
yeah.
That for me, any questions you have for me, Mr. Benji?
Um,
Anything.
anything. We've talked about a lot of things, and we've gone to lunch and coffee and whatever. We've talked about a lot, but
Mhm.
um what made you want to do what you're doing now?
Hmm. As far as the podcast
Uh,
or
Podcast, your
anything,
career, just what what led you to kind of I've known you in a few different roles over the past
all the things.
several years. So what kind of made you take the steps that you've taken to get to where you are now?
It is true. When I look at the rundown of my resume, I've done all different things. That is how I am dissatisfied with doing the same thing over and over again. I am one, if someone can describe me, I'm almost like a marketplace apostle. And what that is I like to plant, build, create systems where folks are successful and I move on. Uh I am not attached to owning anything. I just want to see people win and organizations grow. When I am most happy, and we're not always happy in our lives because life happens, but I'm very in tune with what makes me go. And what makes me go is when someone tells me, I want to do this, and that's when I will feel fulfilled. And then I help them to get there. I push them to get there. Not being like a genie, but how can I support you? And all of my roles over time has had that consistent thread is how do I support people to see them win? And that's why I started LSK Consulting. That's why I started this podcast, because people don't have mentors. They don't have coaches. And sometimes to get one, you got to pay a ton of money. But I want to create value for people where you could just tune in. You see the people who are in your community and you just learn from them. I am I am motivated by love and love alone. And additionally, according to my faith, my purpose is not money. My purpose is not being seen. My purpose is to love. If I do anything outside of that, I am violating who I am to the core. I say this all the time. You could strip me of everything. I don't care about it. I honestly, if in my prayer time and God says to me, Crystal, move out of your home and go move into a one bedroom with your family and do exactly what I tell you to do, I will be so happy and pack that thing up. That is what I live for, to just see I don't know, it's just to see people win. And now I'm focusing and dialing in more on LSK consulting and, doing more coaching because that's a need right now. So yeah, that's why I do what I do for love.
That's great, and I feel that
Mhm.
I said earlier on, one of the things I love about you is how much you love life
Mhm.
and other people, and it comes across that that's what's most important to you.
Mhm. And I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up. I that's I don't know. But I do know is that I don't want to be a slave to a job. I don't want to be a slave to a persona. Um, I want to be I want to be free, and that's a lot of times the hope and want of people is just like I want to walk out my house and just be myself. And a lot of executives don't know how to do that. They don't even know how to start to do that. And I want to be um, an example of that. I don't want to take myself too seriously because life anything could happen to you.
Mhm.
And yeah, I always want to remain reachable and humble and um I think that's it. That's what drives me. Not money, not status. I honestly for most of the part, I'm happy when people don't invite me places. I do not have FOMO. That's one thing that I don't suffer from. It's like take pictures and send it to me. I am so happy that you are over there because I rather be on my couch uh chilling out. That's pretty much yeah, that's why I do what I do. Nothing fancy at all. I don't even have anything fancy. I just got all the guys love.
That's all you need sometimes. That's great.
That's all you need. Um what do you need in a sister from another mister?
Yeah, I think, I'm not speaking generally, just to talk about
Mhm.
you and me. I
Yeah.
think, what's great is, we're both busy and we'll,
Yeah.
go weeks, months without seeing each other.
Yeah.
We'll bump into each other randomly, but, sometimes we're not always interacting.
Yeah.
But when we see each other, when we get together, have a chance to talk, it's always, you feel like I
It's
just saw
love.
you. There's,
Mhm.
it, you want somebody that you feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
To find somebody who's a true friend who feels like part of your family,
Yeah.
somebody who you feel comfortable with, just talking about whatever, and they make you feel joyful,
Yeah.
and they help re-energize you when you spend some time with them.
Yeah. What I need from my brother Ben Jacobs is uh, keep up with who you are. Um, why am I getting emotional? Why am I tearing up? What is this? I was not expecting this. Um, being in visible roles can be really hard. It's like so hard. And you bring a sense of just like life is gonna be okay and it's like you could be normal. And as leaders, we don't often talk about the struggles of just wanting to be um loving our work, but some days wanting to be invisible.
Mhm.
If that makes sense,
Yeah.
you know? And but visible to the people who truly care about you. And that's how I feel. It's like when I see you, I've I feel like the real me is being seen, and I would never I was just like Yeah, of course, we always want people to change for the better because they're always transforming. I'm, evolving every day in how I'm a leader, how I show up as a wife, as a mama, as a friend, as a business person. Um, However, there's just something about being seen truly, and don't ever change that,
I won't.
or else I'll be like, Ben, what's this? Like, how can we keep each other in a world where everything is about headlines and about being the best business person or the best executive ever and being in front of the camera and being in front of spaces? How can we keep each other honest?
Like, you need to keep other people honest, you need to be honest yourself. So
Mm-hmm.
if you come to everything you do as you do
Yeah.
with authenticity and truth and being who you really are, that kind of forces other people to do the same thing.
Mm.
It's hard to be false and hide who you are when you're faced with
Ooh.
somebody who's being authentic.
Yeah.
So the more people who can go through life with authenticity, the harder it'll be for other people to avoid that.
Mm, that's good. Hmm, that's good. I wonder why the RBJ is so good. Y'all better get a subscription, okay? Because I love reading it. Like, I do.
Thank you.
I was like, what's happening today in Rochester? It's if you are an executive, if you're a leader, an upcoming leader, or just a everyday, person just wanting to know what's going on in your city, I truly believe that you should subscribe to the RBJ. And it's important knowing what's going on in your community. And if you want just the objective look of what's happening, it's worth every living last penny. And there are resources in there if you're looking to grow yourself personally or professionally. There are events that you can attend, professional development attend events that are in the that is in the publication. Additionally, there are ways to uplift other members in our community. We have women of excellence,
Yes.
right? We have, what are some of the awards that you all have?
Oh, we have 40 under 40. We have
Mm-hmm.
our Icon Honors awards. We have some industry specific awards for financial leaders,
Mm-hmm.
legal leaders,
Mm-hmm.
real estate and construction leaders.
Mm-hmm.
We have our Impact and Inclusion Awards. That event is coming up later this month.
Mm-hmm.
We have some workplace awards. We have our Women's Leadership Summit, which is a day devoted to networking and career growth for women.
Mm-hmm.
But we have a lot of different ways that people can be recognized, network, interact with other people. Um, it's our events is one of my favorite parts of my job. Just
They're so
seeing
cool.
people are always so excited to be there and to get a chance to talk to people. Um, Especially after we lost that for a couple of years at the beginning of
Mhm.
COVID and we couldn't be in person.
Mhm.
Since then, it's felt even more important to have those in person moments because a lot of people still are working remotely or hybrid or they're doing
Yeah,
virtual meetings a lot. So these opportunities where everybody's in the same room and seeing each other face to face, they're important.
they are. Get in the room. Nominate some folks. Go online. There's so many people in Rochester. Nominate some folks. Get in the room. You will truly find your tribe. I have the most random request, and I know I could say it.
Okay.
Okay. So I am a girls, woman's empowerment, everything. So I'm just gonna put this out here as a request. Ben, you don't have to say anything at all. I would love to see an award ceremony for men. I said it. I said it. I would like to see awards for men of excellence. You don't have to say anything at all.
Okay.
because there are so many brilliant men in our community. And so, one thing that I know the RBJ will continue to do is uplift women. And some may argue, okay, well, then, we know that men are always being recognized, yada, yada, yada. I get that. But I also know that there are men, many like Ben Jacobs, who have lifted and have worked alongside and been an excellent ally for women in the community. And I want to know who some of those men are. So Ben, don't say nothing. This I'll take the heat for this one. Okay, that's on me. This is what sisters do. That's what I want. That's what I want to. I want to celebrate some men out here. Okay, so that's the only request. Just put it out there. So we're coming to the end of our time, and we're gonna do our rapid fire. Okay, so I'm singing. This is our rapid fun and fire round. This is time, it's time, it is time, it's time, it's time for fun. It's time for fun. Woo! All right. All right. Ben Jacobs. Rapid. Text or call?
Text.
Okay. All right, we'll go back to it. Risk taker or calculated moves?
Calculated moves, usually.
Okay. Music in the car or drive in silence?
I still listen to the radio.
What?
Music on the radio. Yeah, I'm weird.
I did not expect that. I thought it well, I didn't expect that you rock climb either. Okay, all right. Yep. Unlimited travel or 3-day work weeks?
That's a really hard question because I love to travel.
Mm-hmm.
But it'd be easier to travel if you only had 3-day work weeks.
Is this true? All right, so which one is it going to be? The 3-day or the unlimited travel? What's up?
I'll go with unlimited travel.
Okay, all right.
I'll find a way to fit it in.
Facts. If you had to give a TED Talk with zero prep, this might get it. All right, yes. If you had to give a TED Talk with zero prep, what topic are you choosing?
Oh, jeez. I guess I'd probably do something on leadership and journalism if it had to be a professional thing.
Yeah.
If it had to be like an interest thing, it'd be
Please give us the interesting
it'd be something
thing.
stupid like running or like Star Wars or something.
Are you the Star Wars person?
I love Star Wars.
Say less. No. Why can't we have an RBJ Star Wars Day? Like I feel like I would go to that.
Yeah.
I feel like we need that as a community. Hear me put in all my requests today. A Star Wars event, all kinds of things. All right. What was your most questionable purchase this year?
Try to buy less stuff. I got too much stuff already.
You have too much stuff.
Yeah, house is full of stuff that like I don't really need all this stuff. Like,
Ben, for real? Like, what kind of stuff? Ben, do you go shopping
yeah,
all the time?
I mean, I do the grocery shopping.
My husband does the grocery shopping. I don't know how to grocery shop.
No.
I am the worst at grocery shopping. It is so bad. I don't get the full meals. Ricardo is so detailed. He knows the snacks. He knows I like going to the store, but I have to go to, I'm going to one store and I know what I'm going to get in the store. But having like, oh, let's have a full shopping day and go and eat lunch, please don't invite me to that. Don't invite me. Invite me to the one store and I'm okay with, and we could stop for Starbucks or whatever we're drinking before then. But no, I'm not shopping for nothing.
I like grocery shopping. I go to the East Ave Wegmans, get a coffee, go get everything I need.
Just in there with some bell peppers and some coffees or something like that. What do you like to eat? What kind of like food are you into?
Try to eat healthy, so we get a lot of produce. But,
Yeah.
We like. It's tough with 4 kids because kids have weird tastes.
They do.
So we got to try to make things that everybody likes. Sometimes it's hard.
My son is into mozzarella sticks now.
Yeah.
That's it. All day, all night. Mozzarella sticks. I could cook a great meal I'm like, put my heart and soul into it. And the boy will want some mozzarella. I'm offended. When you look back at this when you grow up, I'm offended, but I love you. Anyway. All right. Any weird questions for me?
What's your most questionable purchase?
Oh, my most questionable purchase. I have a lot of questionable purchases. Yesterday there's these like okay, I don't know what it is, but it's like a fridge compartment extender. I don't know why I needed it. I don't need it. But I bought it because I wanted to put it, I have this makeup rack. It's for the fridge, but I use it now. I put it on the thing for my makeup to put my lipsticks in. Another questionable thing that I bought. I don't know. I think that is it for the most part. That's the most questionable thing but no. I buy a lot of beauty supplies that I give away because I never end up using it. I love planners. I use a ton of planners. And I love cord organizers. Okay, they're cord organizers. I love cord organizers.
Okay.
I think they're dope. And so if you, I don't know what that is about, but yeah, that's a questionable
Like
thing.
cute ones that are like animals or something.
I love those. I'm obsessed with unicorns. Yeah, so if it's anything unicorn related, I am here for it. But yeah, I'm a cord organizer junkie. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's that. Then it was a pleasure.
This is great.
This is so good. And then like people now know like you're so stoic. You're like, there's Ben over there. And so now people get to know more about Ben, my brother.
Thank you.
Come on. So thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Who's in Your Contacts. And let me just tell you something. If you haven't heard it today, I love you. Until next time, folks.
Hey friend, thanks for tuning in to Who's in Your Contacts, where culture, connection, and collaboration collide. Be sure to subscribe wherever you listen so you never miss an episode from your favorite business bestie, Crystal Ellis. By the way, want some Crystal exclusives or a chance to work with her? Visit elliskconsulting.com to drop a note or follow her on Instagram @theculturebroker. See you next time, and remember to show up as the best version of yourself today.